Welcome to Learning English at Common Ground International. I'm Misty Davidson. I'm an ESL teacher at Common Ground, and I'm glad you're here today. Today we're going to learn about the imperative. We're going to just do it. We're going to talk about the imperative, and again, you'll have a chance to practice. So let's begin. We're going to talk about the imperative, giving directions, giving suggestions and advice. Our objective today, by the end of the lesson, you will know how to form and use the imperative, and you'll know how to give polite suggestions and directions and advice. Let's begin. Let's talk about forming the imperative. It's very easy, actually. We just use the base form of the verb. For example, sit down. Sit is just the base form. You all know what that means, sit down. Stand in line. Fill out this form. You've been told that before. Here, fill out this form. Now, what if I want to make it negative? This is easy. We add do not or don't. Do not sit there. Don't touch that button. Don't forget about the party tonight. Now, we use the imperative a lot in real life. You probably hear it every day in real life and you use it. Let's look at some examples of how the imperative is used in real life. Your boss might say to you, work on this project for now and then go back to your regular work when you're done. You might say to your child, to your teenager, be home by 9 p.m. You have school tomorrow. Be is the base form of the verb to be. If you cook, a recipe might say, measure 1 cup of flour, put it in a large bowl, add 1 cup of water, blend. If you need to change something on the printer, your owner's manual for your printer will give you directions. It might say, to change the cartridge, first open the door indicated on the diagram. Remove the empty cartridge. Replace it with a new cartridge. Close the door. So, you see there are examples in everyday life of using the imperative. When else do we use the imperative? What other times? We may use it when we are angry. You may say, don't lie to me. It's a negative imperative. We may need to give somebody a direct order or a directive, such as a teacher in a classroom. Stop talking. In the military, if you've ever been in the military, your sergeant probably said, forward march. We also use the imperative to give suggestions or advice. For example, you look sick. Call your doctor. I'm not ordering you to, but I think it's a very good idea for you to call your doctor. Deposit your check now. The rent is due soon. Again, I'm giving you advice or suggestion. I can't order you to, but it's a very good idea because you have to pay the rent. Make sure you get your car serviced. Or, suggestion, don't worry about it. It will be fine. I can't make you stop worrying, but I suggest you not worry about it. It's not a big deal. Sometimes we want to add emphasis to the imperative. When we do this, we can add the word just. It changes the meaning very slightly. Just do it, as the picture said. This means stop wasting time and do what you need to do. Just do it. Sometimes a salesman, when you're buying a car, says, just sign here. Be a little careful for that. This means it's easy. Just sign your name. All you have to do is sign. Well, sometimes we may want to soften the imperative. The imperative can sound very direct and forceful. sometimes we may want to be a little more polite. There are some ways of making the imperative sound more polite. Here are some things we can do. We can add please. Instead of saying sit down, please sit down. Please don't make noise. We can add let's or let's not. Let's is a contraction for let us. It's a suggestion. I think we should do this. Or let's not. Let's see a movie tonight. Let us leave now. We don't want to be late. Let's not forget our passports. We can't travel without them. Hey, another way to soften it, we can add why don't. And this is going to be tricky. These look like questions. In reality, well, they are questions, but they're not used as questions. If I say to you, why don't we go to a basketball game tonight? Looks like a question, but what I'm saying is, I want to go to a basketball game. I hope you do too. It wouldn't sound very polite to say, go to a basketball game with me. But if I say, why don't we? It's a polite way of using the imperative, a suggestion that I hope you agree with. Why don't you call your mother and tell her you're okay? A suggestion, I think your mother's worried about you. Rather than saying, call your mother, I'm being more polite about it. Again, these look like questions, but they are actually polite suggestions. The next several items will also look like questions. They'll end with a question mark, but we actually use them not as questions. We don't expect an answer. They're polite suggestions. They are polite suggestions. We can add, do you want to? Or would you like to? Again, you're not asking somebody if they really want to do something. You're suggesting that they do it. Do you want to put the milk away? Maybe you don't want to put the milk away. But I'm asking you politely, I'm suggesting that you should put the milk away. Would you like to pick up some bread on the way home? I don't really expect you to say, I don't want to do that. It's a suggestion. I'd like some bread. You're going to pass the store. Please pick some up. We can add, will you, won't you, or would you? Again, these look like questions, but they're polite suggestions. They may go at the beginning or at the end of a sentence. I can say, sit down, will you? Means please sit down. Try some chocolate cake, won't you? Or will you? Help me with this, won't you? Would you help me with this? You can also add, you will need to. This is a way of saying, well, this is what you should do, this is what you have to do. You will need to turn left at the stop sign. It's more polite than saying turn left at the stop sign. It's a good idea to. It's a good idea to leave early on a snowy day. It's a suggestion rather than just say leave early on a snowy day. You can add if you can. Call me tonight if you can. Well, it's a suggestion. I'm sure you can call me. It's a suggestion. I'd like you to call me tonight. Note that if you can is placed usually at the end of a sentence. Sometimes you say if you can call me tonight. Usually it's at the end. We use the imperative in the car. How many of you use a GPS in your car or Google Maps? Your GPS uses the imperative to give you directions. You may also hear certain words or expressions pertaining to traffic. Continue. It means go straight, follow the road. Continue on Elm Street for 2 miles. If you're asking a friend for directions, they may say take a left or take a right at Elm Street. It means turn left or turn right. Straight ahead means don't turn. Go straight ahead Then turn when you get to the corner. Pull over. When you see a policeman, you should pull over. That means go as far to the right as possible and then stop. Pull over to let the ambulance pass, to let the fire truck pass, or to wait for the policeman if you're in trouble. Okay, let's do some practice with the imperative. You will see a situation. You're going to use the imperative for each situation. You're going to rewrite or re-say the expression with the imperative. Many will have more than one correct answer. I'll try to do as many correct answers as I can. Are you ready? Tell someone how to make a cup of tea. I'll wait. This will be like a recipe. Put a tea bag in a cup, add boiling water, wait a few minutes. You could say please if you want to. Usually a cookbook or a recipe doesn't say please, but. Number 2, ask your friend to turn down the volume on the TV. You can do this several ways. What's one way? Please turn the volume down. Turn the volume down, please. Are there any other ways? I don't have them written down, but are there other ways? Turn the volume down, won't you? Will you turn the volume down, please? Do you want to turn the volume down? Would you please turn the volume down? Many ways. Or if you're angry, turn the volume down. Okay, number 3, suggest to a friend that you go to a football game together. Hey, what do you have? Let's go to a football game. Why don't we go to a football game? Do you want to go to a football game? That means I want to go. I hope you want to go. Number 4, invite your friend to dinner. What would you say to your friend? Please come to dinner with me. Is there anything else you can say? Come to dinner with me, would you? Would you please? Anything else? I don't have it written down, but anything else? Come to dinner with me, will you? Won't you come to dinner with me? Okay, number 5, you're going to tell your young child not to touch the stove. This is a fairly forceful thing. You don't want him to get burned. This is something that you probably have done if you have a young child. Don't touch that stove. You're not being polite about it. You want him to know right away not to touch it. You're not suggesting it, it's an order. Okay, your friend is having trouble finding some place. Tell your friend it's easy. Turn right on Elm Street. Make it easy for him. Just turn right on Elm Street. That's all you have to do. Or you will just need to turn right on Elm Street. Okay, let's try number 7. Ask a guest to sit down. There are several ways, many ways to do this actually. Sit down, will you? Do you want to sit down? Please sit down. Any other way? Won't you sit down? Sit down, won't you? Okay, number 8. You have a secret. Ask your friend not to reveal your secret to anyone, not to tell your secret to anyone. Please don't tell anyone. Keep it a secret, won't you? Number 9, ask your spouse to buy bananas on the way home. What would you say to him or her? Buy some bananas on the way home, would you? Would you buy some bananas on the way home? What else could you say? Anything else? Do you want to buy some bananas on the way home? Please buy some bananas on the way home. And number 10, tell your child to come to you. This may be forceful, it may not, it may be in order, it may not be. Come here. Please come here. Do you want to come here, please? If it's not really that big a deal. Okay, let's do some reviewing. To review, we use the imperative to give directions, suggestions, or advice. We can soften it by adding some of many expressions to it. This helps us to be more polite when we use the imperative. And that's the imperative for today. I hope everybody learned a lot. I hope you will know how to use the imperative forcefully and less forcefully when you need to. Thank you for tuning in to Learning English at Common Ground. I'm Misty Davidson. It was good to see you today, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.